6:49 here this Friday at sunrise. Your top stories in our Smart Start. Some breaking updates as fire crews were out battling a fire at a senior living complex in Chilai on Union Square Boulevard this morning. Calls came in just after 2 o'clock. Our News 8 crew there saw much of the response focus here, one of the community center buildings. No reports of any injuries at this time. Now we talk about our weather real quick here with James Gilbert. Getting ready to head out. Busy travel time. Yep. What you got?
Yeah, fill up the gas tank this morning. Take care of business before you go on your long trips. We're looking great for you today. Should be no issues on the roads, at least in terms of weather. Numbers getting into the low to mid 80s. So a little on the warmer side today. Tomorrow, if you are doing any traveling, that's when we've got a big cold front on the way. You can see it there on satellite and radar. Crosses Michigan this afternoon, eventually southern Ontario, and we've got it tomorrow. We'll take a look at the 8-day forecast at the end of the show, Brennan.
All right, that'll be in a few minutes. Thank you, James. For now, we take a look at the road, seeing a little bit more light out there. The sunrise getting later and later, heading into September. 490 moving along at speed. Can tell you 390 north and southbound between the Thruway and the split with 590. All good if you're in the Henrietta area. Irondequoit 104's all good. Webster to Williamson, no issues either. Labor Day, we talk about driving. How about flying? The TSA expects more than 17 million people will be screened at U.S. airports through Wednesday. That would be the busiest Labor Day weekend on record, with today expected as obviously to be the peak travel day. In other headlines, 5 people have been arrested in Rochester after a rollover crash that began with a police chase. State troopers say they initially tried to stop a Jeep at North Goodman Street yesterday afternoon, but the driver would not stop. That led to the pursuit. It ended when the Jeep slammed into a sedan that hit another car at Lake and Driving Park Avenues. The Jeep flipped over, injuring one person inside. The drivers of the 2 uninvolved cars in the chase have minor injuries. One of these suspects involved in the stolen car chase last week that killed a 92-year-old man in Brighton has posted bail. 19-year-old Theophilus Parks, who police say was in the front seat of the stolen car that hit Thomas Chase, was released from custody. His brother, 17-year-old Theodice Parks, was identified as the driver and now facing reckless endangerment and murder charges. Both Theophilus now and Trevon Simmons, a third suspect in the stolen car, are out on bail. Theophilus is accused of car theft, but his attorney argues there is not enough evidence to support a stolen property charge and wants it knocked down to a misdemeanor. We'll see if that happens. He says Parks wanted to get out of the car before the crash. The assistant district attorney, though, argues this doesn't matter. He knew the car was stolen, and it doesn't make a difference if he expressed the desire to get out of the vehicle. Theophilus is back in court Tuesday morning again, so the judge can go through this nearly 4-hour-long interview between him and an investigator to decide if there is enough evidence to go forward with the grand jury process. To the impacts of a ruling made this week regarding a nearly decade-old case of a man beaten in Rochester by police. This is called a summary judgment. What that is based on statements and evidence without having a full trial. David Vann sued the city and RPD for what happened to him back in September 2015. In this new ruling, it's a partial win for Vann, as a portion of the summary judgment was granted. What happened here was caught on surveillance cameras at a store on South Avenue. Vann went there to buy a cigarette 9 years ago and then got into an argument with the cashier over getting the right change back. Police, as you see, responded to the scene, and during the confrontation with officers, Vann was arrested, punched, and pepper sprayed. Police did charge him with assault back then. Vann would be later acquitted, and now a federal judge ruled the evidence of excessive force and abuse by 2 of the officers that night is so obvious to any potential juror, there's no need for a trial. A father and son in the Finger Lakes are in serious condition after a dog attacked them in Canandaigua. Police say it happened Thursday morning on South Main Street. A 43-year-old man and his 10-year-old son were walking when the pit bull ran up behind them and attacked the boy to start with. We're told the child escaped to a business right nearby and has severe back injuries. The father pulled the dog off his son, but he himself was disfigured along his back and arms from being bitten. Bystanders and officers worked together to wrestle the dog into a patrol car until animal control arrived. That dog is currently being held at a shelter in Ontario County. The investigation is now with the Humane Society. Investigators have told us they received previous complaints about the same dog attacking other people, including a 3-year-old. For the past 2 days, swimming has been banned in Charlotte up at Ontario Beach Park due to the presence of E. coli found in the waters along the shoreline. Testing done through the health department confirmed high levels of the bacteria, which we know is normally only found in the intestines of humans and other animals. The threshold inspectors look for is 235 mpm. That's the most probable number of bacteria per 100 milliliters of water. The recorded values at the East Beach for Wednesday around 1800. At the West Beach surpassed 4,000. That beach remains closed to swimming until more tests can be done. Members of the F-16 Viper demonstration team are back in town for the weekend. The Wings over Batavia Air Show is the second time the team has been here in New York, now celebrating the 50th anniversary of the F-16. The pilots decorated the modern aircraft to replicate how the original test plane, known then as the YF-16, would have flown back in 1974. At the air show, pilots will demonstrate about 15 minutes of combat air power, including high G turns and speeding passes.
The F-16 is a single-engine, multi-role fighter aircraft, so it is able to perform air-to-air missions as well as air-to-ground missions.
So the F-16 behind me is fashioned after the original test plane, the YF-16. This is how the plane first flew in 1974. This is the famous shot that you can find on YouTube of the plane accidentally taking off in January of 1974, and this is exactly how it was painted, with a few adjustments for modern day.
Very, very cool. The air show opens tomorrow. Gates at 2 o'clock, and both nights ending with a drone show. Man, we've had so many air shows this year.
Yeah.
Ready to go again. Very cool.
Colton and Megan seem like two pretty cool people.
Oh, man. Can you imagine? Very Top Gun-like.
Yeah,
Ready to go. Ready to go.
They had the whole look, too,
yes,
right?
Yes. It's the aviators.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Cloudy skies doesn't matter. You're still rocking the shades. Very cool, because they probably fly above the clouds. 8-day forecast here. Today is the day to do some travel. Tomorrow, we're hunkering down, showers, thunderstorms. And then I am excited for light jacket weather next week.
I'm looking forward to that. That's back to school season. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody.
What if you...
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, X, and on our app for news and weather.